Hey guys, it's Cyrus of Chaos. I'm here with Stephen Ewart and Justin Yoo, and today we're going to talk about Stephen's amazing comeback in the semifinals of Junior Worlds this year against France. So,
It was last year.
right, sorry. Oh my god, it was last year.
So this was a really cool moment in my fencing career. It was really cool to just be a part of the whole day for Team USA and close out my junior career in this way.
It was very exciting to watch. So,
a little bit of backstory. I've fenced Lilien 3 times, and all 3 times have been something crazy. So the first time I had fenced him was at a Junior World Cup 2 seasons before, and I was up 14-11 with 8 seconds left, and he came out and beat me.
Oh my god!
Like he got 3 touches in 8 seconds and 1 in priority. So that was the first time we had fenced, and then the second time was a team bout in this same season as that Worlds, and we fenced in the anchor bout in Latvia. We had a really funny moment with the the Bellegarde and me throwing his blade. That's really cool.
That was very funny.
I had no idea what was happening, and I just looked around and his blade was gone.
Yeah.
So what happened there, I was down 32-40 in the anchor bout.
In Latvia.
And in Latvia, yeah. And so I was down 32-40, and it ended up being 45-44. He doubled 5 times, and I was really like,
oh my god,
I could have just got one more, right? And so fast forward to this team bout, this team event at Worlds. We had a bit of a rough start, and then the boys just did really well. We picked it up from there, and we go in this semifinal bout against the French team, and we knew it was going to be tough. The French team has always been, incredibly good. Artur, he won Junior Worlds for individual. Incredible fencers on that team. And so we go in, we fenced the bout. We started out pretty good, got down, and then Jonathan was fencing Simon Contrepois in the setup bout. And I remember he had 33 and Simon had like 38, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And Sergey, our team coach, the national team coach, he looks at me and he goes, "Do you want me to tell him to leave it? Like just go to non-combativity, let the time run.
Right.
Just go into the next bout." And he goes, "Should I tell him to leave it?" And I thought about it, and I looked at the score, and I saw, 33, and I go, 33 is more than 32. I'm not even kidding. Like, this is exactly the thought process I had. And I go, okay, he's got 33. So any more that he gets is even higher chance, right? So I was like, no, just tell him to go for it, right? Like, he can go for it. And then he ends up losing like the next 2 touches. So it's 33-40. And I was like, all right, we got 33 this time. Like, let's see where this goes. And I get on strip, and I remembered how I fenced him in that anchor bout in Latvia. And I went, there's no way he's going to let me do the same thing again. Like, there's absolutely no way I'm going to be able to get the same type of touch, I just push him down, and then just launch an attack into it. And I'm like, but, I gotta see how this like, I gotta feel it out, And so first touch, I start pushing, and it's the same. I do the same exact touch that I did 11 times in Latvia. And I went, oh, here we go. And so I just, it was really an incredible moment for me to just have to work and come back like that, and just for everything to work out and come together.
Yeah.
It was a great experience.
Yeah. So on that note, let's switch over to the bout.
I'm so excited to watch this again.
Yeah, this was very exciting. I remember watching this when it was happening.
I just remember like telling myself like just stay like calm, stay relaxed. Like the moment you like buy into the excitement of like having to do this, like it's then once you buy into that, you realize you're making this comeback, and then it becomes infinitely harder.
Yeah, you need to keep it about the fencing.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you said, you're pushing here because you were pushing him last time, and you knew it was effective last time.
That was my only thought process was push him, pin him in the back of his strip as soon as he steps forward or starts an attack, just attack faster.
So if you didn't know anything about him, how aggressive would you have to be down 7 points with only 3 minutes left? Would you have to be about this aggressive anyway, or?
Nope, you absolutely would not, right? 3 minutes is so much time.
So this was purely just an experience thing?
This was purely just, I wanted to see if it would work the same way it did in Latvia.
Yeah.
Because last time worked really well, but...
Yeah, just a few too many doubles.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so I just got to do the same thing again. And let's see if it works.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's one factor that I have no understanding of at all, is like how much time things take.
No, 3 minutes is such a long time.
Yeah, my whole bout would be over by now.
Yep. See, I pinned him at the back, and as soon as I felt him I felt that he was about to come out, I just started first, or started on his preparation.
Go, Stephen.
Woo. And here, whenever he scores, like if you're making a comeback, right? Whenever your opponent scores or there's a double, right? You can't let it affect you, right? You have to tighten up a little bit, like tighten up your technique. Don't give him the opportunity to do that again.
Right.
But you can't start thinking like, I now have less time, right? Or I now have less room to mess up.
Right. Especially when you know that what you're doing can work. You just need to like execute it better.
Yeah.
I like the commitment to the plan. Like, you really committed to like one plan and it worked.
That was my only hope.
That was nice. It's also like you say it's your only hope, but like when you are down by 7 points, you can't really afford to be like super campy. Like you said, 3 minutes is a lot of time, but you still have to kind of make something happen. So
yeah, that's why I like this plan, because you have options, right? Like you can attack, or because you're putting so much pressure on them, you also like can provoke their attack pretty easily
and defend.
Defend against it. Yeah.
I like this one a lot.
See, like I think, that one I just provoked, and then I saw he was about to come out, so I stepped back to parry.
What was that called in French again?
Oh, that wasn't quite the same thing. The quasi.
Crossing.
What is a quasi?
It's like this weird blade work action that I don't really have a formal definition for. But basically, like lefty righty, you take their blade in 6 and then rotate it down here and hit them in like the flank.
Interesting.
But this rotation makes it really hard for them to like hold their blade, right? Because you basically make the wrist do this. So that really funny touch where I like whipped his blade,
flipped it out of his hand.
Other belt, it started with that, right? So I start with this quasi. He drops the blade, and then I get it in 4 and just fling it.
That touch was so funny. I'll try to find it when I'm editing this video. And just more really aggressive pushing and the exact same touch again.
Yeah. It's really like, I just really like the options that I had here.
Your footwork in this bout is so good. You're just being able to like change directions.
So last time you fenced him, were you doing more counterattacks in that situation? Because you said there were a lot of doubles.
I think I was doing more of the attack, like with opposition, kind of. and he just like I didn't clear the blade enough, or he would go into it.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like he would attack into my attack, and so there were a lot of doubles being scored.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't think I might have even chosen to attack more that other time. But yeah, just not as well, I guess.
Yeah. And this time those 2 touches, you've very much been in control of the blade, so.
I don't know if you heard my dad yelling there.
No, what did he say?
I don't know. He just screams really loud. Whenever I point up at the crowd, that's me telling my dad to stop talking.
Gotcha. Wow. I can't believe that was his light.
Yeah, see, there's that little, like, continuation off the lunge that Justin was talking about.
I don't know how he hit that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't.
That is some great hair.
He really does. When I think it was like 2 seasons ago, we'd call him Sway Lee.
Sway.
I'm really lucky they didn't give him that time.
I would have made things harder for sure. That was nice. I like how...
Yeah, see that. So that's my like favorite action, like right there. That favorite kind of action, at least, where you just
attack and prep almost.
Nail them on this attack and prep. Yeah.
And I also I like how much you're respecting his foot, his like the threat to your foot.
Yeah. Just because I knew, like I had seen him do it to other people, you know? And so I knew it was like a tool that he had.
Yeah.
Yeah, your arm went out like significantly faster than like your opponent's.
And now he's not ceding ground as much.
Yeah. And see, these doubles are really, really tough because you know in your head that it's getting closer to 45 for him.
Right.
And it's not really doing much for you.
Yeah. It's definitely doing
like
more
your
for
comeback
him.
Is still just as big.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that was, I don't know, I think just this comeback was really, it was more mental for me. Just trying to like put these doubles and his singles out of my head and just focus on the next one.
Yeah, that was nice. I like that. 6 backflip was the touch of the bout.
I always joke around that backflips for me are like when you panic knife in Call of Duty.
Well, it seems to be working, so.
Like a dude just busted around the corner and you know. So yeah, that whenever he would attack, the 6 was working pretty well.
Yeah.
And that's just a pretty common reaction of mine, I think, is to react with 6. So I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah. So now that you're down by 3 touches, what is the thought process? Just continue what you were doing, just make it more clean?
Yeah, just don't make any mistakes, right? Like the plan's still the same, just don't mess up the plan better. At all. Don't get hit.
Yeah.
Like, I think you can see the footwork tightens up a little bit. I don't move my hand around as much.
Wow.
And that one was just a very like small 6 opposition.
Yeah, that's a mantra in Melee, which is a game that I play a lot. There was this player back in the early days who was amazing, and whenever a new player would ask for advice, he would just tell them, "Don't get hit." And it's on like a lot of Melee t-shirts. It
You know what I like about this is that you're not really like going backwards. I think like a lot of fences when they're down tend to not take any risks, but like you're really going at it.
Yeah, just because
Oh.
I knew it was gonna. Ooh.
That was strange
Yeah.
on his part to be. Yeah, that was weird.
I think he's stressed out too.
Of course he's stressed out.
If someone's coming back on you and they, the previous one I attacked, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously he's going like, I need one more. I need to change it up. I can't let him attack.
Yep.
And he just started a little bit, I guess, predictably.
Yeah. I mean, you've been recognizing the start of his attack really, really well.
Yeah.
Surprised that
And
during
that's-
all this, he never decided to push you forward more.
I wouldn't have let him.
You just wouldn't have let him?
Would not have let him push me forward. Yeah, so the reason this plan, like, I think it's a really, like, or it worked really well for this comeback because there's not a lot, like, you have options, but there's not a lot of, like, variability,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like, I'm going to push and make him feel the pressure, right? As soon as he does anything, I'm going to nail him,
Yeah.
right? Whether he does something off the line or whether he does something with 1 foot off the back of the strip, as soon as he does something, I'm going to nail him. Whether that's a step forward or he's starting his attack, right? The only thing he could have done to mess that up would have been like provocations.
Yeah. But he wasn't
get me
doing that very
guessing?
well here.
Yeah, but I had the pressure on him to where he wasn't able to do those provocations.
Yeah, I think pressure is such an important tool that I think is not utilized enough in any of the 3 weapons. And I think that's something in Saber, at least, that the Koreans just do so well. Like, you just feel like you're under pressure from them in every situation all the time. And it just really minimizes your options. So,
But I think you also need something behind it. Like, if you're going to threaten someone, like, you have to have, like...
You have to back it up.
yeah, I mean, of course, but like I just think it's interesting that you said, like, you just wouldn't have let him come forward. And it's because you're just keeping tremendous pressure on him, and every time he tries to attack you, you get the touch. So it's an interesting way of dealing with this problem, and I like it a lot. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think he made a mistake. Maybe if he had, put more counter pressure on me, it would have slowed down the bout a little bit and changed the situations we were in.
Jesus Christ.
and now he's getting extremely nervous. And like the psychology here for him is like you've got to be thinking somewhere that you're about to blow this bout, and it's really hard to not have that thought in your head.
Yeah.
And so even though it's tied, like this, I would say is very heavily in your favor at this point. So
yeah, and see, but it's interesting because I remember, like mentally, it changed before the last touch, right? All these other touches, I was hyper focused on, my plan, and I was going to execute it into the T, and no matter what happened, right? And then all of a sudden, it's 44, and this is the bout, right? And so I had to, and everybody around me screaming, and everybody's hyped up, and I had a choice whether I wanted to, get into that and let my, I guess adrenaline come up, or just keep it down and still make this touch the most important one,
Yeah, I'd say just do what you're doing.
Yeah. And yeah, it was hard not to smile at what had just happened, but I still had to finish it,
Right, exactly. And from Nguefack's perspective, I think he's not slowing the bout down enough between the touches. Like when your opponent, when things are going well for yourself, get back on guard as quickly as you possibly can and just keep that going. And conversely, when that's happening to you, tie your shoe, ask to straighten your blade, maybe even just change it for no reason, but do something. Fix your luscious, luxurious hair, but do something to slow down the bout. And he's not doing that at all. He just keeps walking back and getting on guard. Even here, he does it pretty quickly. I would be going much more slowly if I were him in this situation.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned that because I remember one of the touches that happened, right? He attacked and I also attacked, and his bell guard like made contact with my mask.
Yeah, the one that just happened, right?
It was either the one that just happened or the very first one.
Okay.
I don't remember which one.
Yeah.
But I remember like it kind of like moved my mask, but I didn't think it wasn't like painful, and I knew he didn't like intend to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I remember I turned around and Sergey was like, you know, motioning to me like he bell guarded you, like asked for the replay.
Video. Yeah.
And I like thought about it for a second, and I went, well, A, they're probably not going to give it to me.
And B, it would break your momentum.
B, I wanted to stay in it. I wanted to keep him in it. I didn't want it to slow down for even a second.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and yeah, part of me was like, I knew they weren't really going to give it to me.
Yeah.
Because these refs, like, it was really interesting because core here is very, very different than in like at like NACS and stuff. And the US guys, we kept asking for replay, like, well, like we bumped into each other, and the refs were just like, one of the guys in this bout literally said, why? Like, why are you asking me for video? I'm not going to give it to you.
Yeah. That's interesting. So you mean like at the NACS, it's called much more easily? Like you'd have to really almost jostle the person here to get core called?
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
And I remember here, this is another one of those like movie moments or whatever, where I looked and I saw like, I didn't want to stop looking at his eyes. It's like that Mike Tyson thing, you know, where he's like, I was looking into their eyes. And I saw the fear, and I was like, he's done. I got this.
He's done.
Like, he's got nothing left. He like looked away, right? He like looked away and tried to breathe, and I was like, he's scared. Like he's scared, he's done. But I knew like he might try and just like throw out something random, you know? So right here he goes to the foot, and it was really close to hitting me. Like I remember feeling like the blade hit the strip right in front of me.
You could feel the breeze from it almost.
Yeah, I feel the breeze, and I went, oh shoot, like he's got something planned. And then I stepped forward and he went again, and I was like, all right, it's nothing. Like he doesn't have anything planned, and then I just went for it.
Yeah, and there's that attack and prep from before.
Yeah. So yeah, as soon as he went for the foot, and I was like, oh, that scared me. And then he went 2 more times, and I was like, nah, it's fake. There's nothing here.
Yeah, that was a great touch.
I think this like bout turned you from a boy into a man.
Did you just hear someone in the crowd scream when he did the first foot touch?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. It was really close to hitting me.
I'm sure it was. It looked very close in the video.
Yeah, I couldn't even scream or anything. People made fun of me for doing the hands out thing, but I was so dead. Like I had nothing else. Like I was like, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. It's good to watch the positivity, but it's also sad to watch the other side.
Oh yeah, and I like all of these guys. They're really, really, really nice guys. From what interactions I've had with them, like they're really fun guys, pretty funny.
Yeah.
And like they mean well.
Yeah, for sure. No, that was a great bout. Any closing thoughts on that one?
Closing thoughts is like I think that was like if I had to reflect on my fencing career so far, right? That was my like strongest day mentally. Like it was good fencing, but I think that day was all mental, you know? I had some other stuff going on like completely unrelated to fencing that was happening the night before.
Mm-hmm.
And that night I like made a decision. I go like, okay, like, yeah, this is bothering you, but tomorrow, like this is completely separate from what's at hand, right? And it was like a really, really cool like mental exercise for me almost, where I just separated the two things in my mind.
Yeah.
And I was like completely and entirely focused on fencing that day and like fencing the best I could that day. And that didn't like from bout number 1, that didn't let up. And that's what led to the comeback, where you just have to be in it. And no matter what happens, you just have to be fencing as best as you know how to fence, stick with the plan. And it doesn't matter what the score is, just have a plan and execute.
Yeah, totally. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching through that again with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me talk about it.
Thanks for having me cheerlead.
Yeah.
Steven, that was incredible. Like, really stuck to that plan real hard.
I wasn't, as I said, as soon as I saw it was going to work, I wasn't letting it go.
Yeah.
Like, there was no other option.
Yeah, exactly. Don't change your strategy if you don't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was the team events go a little more quickly than the individuals. So like you wouldn't be in the semifinals of individuals at that point. So I remember when I woke up pretty early, I like flipped on the fencing and was hoping that you guys were still in and that it was still relatively early in the tournament. And when I got there, I think it was like 33-38, and my first thought was like, yikes.
I missed it.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm glad that I got to watch through that and then watch you guys fence in the final. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Hungary just turned it up. I was dead for that bout, and I look back and go, like, I was absolutely just drained from all that, like, adrenaline spike, and then you have a 2-hour break between those two bouts. Like, I was mentally and physically drained in the final, but Hungary really, really, like, they stepped it up on that day, and they came to win.
Yeah,
like,
that break.
Go ahead. It was funny behind the scenes because we had to like warm up, in the side room.
Yeah. And
the U.S. guys, this is the best we had ever done, and so we're these just, we're here laughing, joking around, like we're kind of warming up, and the Hungarian guys, like, they were breaking down the strips because it was the last day of Junior Worlds, and the coaches made the workers like put 2 strips back up for the Hungarian team to warm up, and we're like, no, we don't need a strip. Like, we're here. We're stretching. We're going to do drills.
Yeah. It's that break between the top 8 and the top 4 in individuals and between semis and the finals / bronze in team is really tough, because you have your feeling of like personal momentum on that day, but then you have to either decide that you're going to stay continuously warmed up for like 2 hours, which is hard, or you have to decide that you're gonna like cool down and then start again, which is like very hard for a different reason. Yeah. And it's just, that was always a tricky situation for me as well. So yeah, they used to try to do that at NAX, not like a 2-hour delay, but there was usually something, if you were on like the final stand, they tried to schedule it at a certain time, and they went away from that for a while, and now they're back to doing that again. And I always had a hard time with that, because it was just like, you win the top 8 and you're like, all right, like let's just get on to the next one, and then they're like, no, you're just gonna hang out for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's hard.
So Justin, here's a funny Justin story.
I was really young.
So this was right like the summer, like the 2 months after he had done his incredible World Championships, right, where he got silver and bronze. We had a joint camp with my club and his club for like a day, and they had like a little interview lunchtime thing, right? And they go, Justin, can you like recount what you did at Worlds? Like, tell us all about it. Walk us through like not just the fencing, but what you did between bouts. And tell him what you told like 13-year-old Stephen. And it was hilarious. Everybody, like, he was so serious when he said this.
Yeah, I remember like one thing that really stuck out to me when like I did that was like between every bout, I would like go outside and like take off my socks and like put my feet in the grass and stuff. Like, I didn't think too much of it, but then like looking back, it was like kind of a big deal for me to like really like recover. But the way I phrased it to these kids was terrible because I was like, yeah, I really went outside and connected with nature before I went and fenced. So I think that definitely gave the wrong impression of what to do to 13-year-old Stephen.
Yeah, my first Cadet World Cup, I went outside and put my hand on a tree. I'm not even kidding. I went, Justin connected with nature. I'm connecting with nature.
That's really funny.
It's actually really helpful to go get fresh air like that.
Yeah, totally.
Outside is so helpful.
It's very stuffy and hot in those venues a lot of the time,
and it's noisy.
And there's always just
noise.
Yeah, and not just noise. It's like you always feel like there's people bumping into you and stuff. And stepping out like that for a minute can be really helpful to just clear your head. Yeah. And that
2-hour break before the final, I made the boys go out in the forest, and we just sat on that edge in the forest.
That's funny. One of the World Cups I did I think my first year on the senior circuit, there was this Korean fencer named Oh Eun-suk, who was really, really good, but he wasn't really considered like a team player. And he came into the venue he was top 16 in the world, so he didn't need to do pools. So he wasn't there the first day at all, and all the Koreans are warming up. And so he gets there the second day, and I remember this very distinctly because a new Pokemon game had just come out. And so he walked into the venue holding his bag in one hand, playing Pokemon with the other, and he just put his stuff down in the side of the room, not with the other Koreans, and just sat there playing Pokemon and eating donuts. And so they called him to the call room, so he got hopped around for a minute, got dressed, went in, won a bout, came back out, took his stuff off, more Pokemon, more donuts. He got second place. So
that's the most Korean thing I've ever heard.
I know, it was crazy.
At local competitions, Justin used to come back with Slurpees between pulls and knees.
Oh yeah, we had a competition at my club, and I would always go get a Slurpee and get yelled at for being late.
But that was our joke. If you want to be a great fencer, get Pokemon and a box of donuts and do that as much as possible. So yeah.
So quick, guys. Just quick shout out here. Me and Justin are thinking about doing a podcast, so be sure to be on the lookout for Stephen and Justin's morning musings whenever we record our unrecorded podcast and when we figure out how to do a podcast.
The topics are going to range from our trip to Ukraine and basically all of our fencing mishaps to we had this weird thing where we would come up with different ideas on how to use a plate, such as using it as a shield, as a phalanx thing. I don't know how to.
We'll have coffee reviews on there.
Oh, coffee reviews. That's a big one.
Reviews.
Those are very important.
We're just muse. We're just going to freestyle.
We're just going to muse. Yep. We're going to freestyle it. So keep an eye out for it, guys.
Yeah. How many different ways you can come up with to say this is how the cookie crumbles?
Trust me, that can go for an hour.
That can go for an hour easily.
Yeah. Important stuff. Important stuff, guys. As soon as they get their stuff together, I will put the link in the video description. So look forward to that.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.